Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Allahumma inna nas'aluka ilman nafi'a wa rizqan tayyiba wa amalan mutaqabbala. Allahumma faqihna fi ad-din wa 'allimna at-ta'wil ya rabbil alamin. Alhamdulillah, we are still on the chapter of who may receive zakat. And just for a recap, last time we mentioned that there are 8 categories of those that can receive zakat. And they are mentioned in the ayah, in Surah At-Tawbah, ayah 60. إِنَّمَا الصَّدَقَاتُ لِلْفُقَرَاءِ وَالْمَسَاكِينِ. So the fuqara and the masakin. The faqir is the one that does not have anything, or he has very, very little. He does not have anything, or some of the fuqaha mentioned, he has less than half of the amount that he needs to suffice him. For example, his monthly bills are $1,000. That's what he needs to survive. And he has less than $500 a month in order to survive. He will be considered a faqir. The masakin are those that are in need, but they are a higher level than the fuqara. So they have, but they don't have enough to suffice their needs. So maybe a person's, his expenses are $1,000, but he has $800 a month. So he's qualified for $200 a month. So the fuqara and the masakin. وَالْعَامِلِينَ عَلَيْهَا, and those that are working for the zakat. So those that are going out to collect the zakat, those that are distributing the zakat, and anyone that is in need in order to facilitate the institution of zakat. So if you need an accountant, for example, you need someone to muhasib, someone to take accounts, he is also qualified to get from the zakat that they are bringing into the institution for the zakat. وَالْمُؤَلَّفَةِ قُلُوبُهُمْ, and those that are inclined towards Islam, their hearts are attracted to Islam, and as Ibn Qudamah rahimahullah, as he mentions, they are those that are inclined to Islam, or also those that perhaps if you give them money, we hope that their evil towards Islam will be lessened or will be gone. So for example, some of the enemies of Islam, if you befriend them, and the best way, one of the best ways to befriend a person or to win someone over is by giving them money. So if you give them, you pay them, and they will ease their shar on the Muslimin, right? Then you can give zakat for that. Also Muslims who you hope that it will increase them in their iman as well, or to help them from collecting zakat from those who are withholding it. So if you give giving zakat in order to giving zakat in order to help the Muslims with their strength, and also to help those that are that if you give them, it will help those that are withholding from giving their zakat. Al-Khamis, the 5th, is Al-Riqab, and Al-Riqab is the one who is a slave, or Al-Mukatab, so the ones that are a contract, they have a contract with their owners in order to purchase themselves. The 6th is Al-Gharimun, so the ones that are in debt. And when the scholars mention Al-Gharimun here, it means the one that is in debt, but the one that is in debt and he's not able to pay his debt back. If a person is able to pay his debt back, then he does not qualify for zakat. As-Sabi', the 7th, is Fi Sabilillah. So the one that is going out for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in fighting, this person is qualified for zakat. So the last time I believe we stopped at number 4. So we'll continue from where the author rahimahullah, he says Al-Khamis. So Al-Khamis, Al-Riqab wa humul mukatibuna wa i'taqu al-raqiq. So those are the ones that are, as we said, the mukatib, the ones that have a contract with their owners in order to purchase themselves for their freedom, or also those that are enslaved, and also those that are a prisoner of war. So in the kuffar, if they have some prisoners of war and they're ransoming them, then the Muslims can use zakat to ransom them. السادس الغارمون وهم المدينون لإصلاح نفوسهم في مباح أو لإصلاح بين الطائفتين من المسلمين. Okay, so al-gharimun, the ones that are in debt, the author rahimahullah ibn Qudamah, he mentions that they are the ones that the debtors have borrowed money to pay for themselves, to pay for permissible things, or to or to pay for things that will that they need, the necessities that they need, لإصلاح نفوسهم, to live basically, or also to reconcile between two Muslim parties. So these are under the same category as those that are in debt. So if a person has borrowed money, but he borrowed money, for example, to pay off to purchase a Ferrari, or to purchase something which he doesn't need, something which is a luxury, then he does not qualify for zakat. السابع في سبيل الله وهم الغزاة الذي لا ديوان لهم. So they are the fighters that are unpaid, and they are unpaid and they don't have a salary from the government or from the Muslim Ummah. والثامن ابن السبيل, the one that is وهو المسافر المنقطع به وإن كان ذا يسار في بلده فهؤلاء هم أهل الزكاة لا يجوز دفعها إلى غيرهم. And the eighth is the wayfarer, the one who is a traveler, but he lacks the means to return home. So even if he was well off in his homeland. So the wayfarer, the person that is considered Ibn Sabil, is the one that he has traveled. He may be rich back home, but he traveled, for example, he's from Canada, he traveled to Turkey or to Indonesia, and maybe he lost all of his items. He lost his wallet. He lost his money, whatever he had. He has no way to get home. He has no way to live. No way. He has no access to his money. He is qualified for zakat, enough to take him back home to his country. So even though he may be rich back home, at that time he does not have any property or anything, and he qualifies for zakat. And then the author rahimahullah, he says, such are those who deserve to receive zakat, and it is not permissible to give to any others. Then he goes on to say, ويجوز دفعها إلى واحد منهم لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أمر بني زريق بدفع صدقتهم إلى سلمة ابن صخر وقال لقبيصة أقم يا قبيصة حتى تأتينا الصدقة فنأمر لك بها. So the author rahimahullah, he says it is permissible to pay only one of them, since the Prophet ﷺ instructed Bani Zurayq to pay Ibn Salama, to pay Salma ibn Zaqir, and he said to Qubaysa, he said, stay here, Qubaysa, until the charity comes to us, and then we will give it to you. So it is permissible to give all of your zakat money to one of the asnaf al-thamani, to give one of the 8 categories. You don't have to distribute to all of them or to multiple categories. Rather, you can give it to one of them. Then he rahimahullah, he says, وَيَدْفَعُ إِلَى الْفَقِيرِ وَالْمِسْكِينِ مَا تَتِمُّ بِهِ كِفَايَتُهُ وَإِلَى الْعَامِلِ قَدْرُ عُمَالَتِهِ. So he says that and you give the faqir and the miskeen the amount that is enough or sufficient for his needs. So a faqir or miskeen comes and he wants zakat, you don't give him $1 million, rather you give him how much he needs to live. If his expenses are $1,000 a month, you give him $1,000 a month. And he says, وَإِلَى الْعَامِلِ قَدْرِ عُمَالَتِهِ. And for the worker, for the amount of work that he does. So you give him a fair recompense for the work that he does. So if an accountant, for example, for a zakat company or a zakat institution, is working, and you give him as he is paid for his role, right? If there's another job that you're employing as a zakat agency, for example, a collector of zakat, then you pay them according to the market value of their salary. وَإِلَى الْمُؤَلَّفَةِ مَا يَحْصُلُ بِهِ تَأْلِيفُهُ. And for those whose heart is to be inclined to giving what will reconcile them. So those that you're giving in order to convince them or to ease their punishment or to help them, give them a push so that they accept Islam, you give them enough that is required. You don't go extravagant and you go exceeding the amount. وَإِلَى الْمُكَاتَبِ وَالْغَارِمِ مَا يَقْضِي بِهِ دَيْنَهُ. And for the mukatab, the one that has a contract to purchase himself, the slave that has a contract to purchase himself, and the person in debt, enough that will pay off their debts. That is all. وَإِلَى الْغَازِ مَا يَحْتَاجُ إِلَيْهِ لِغَزْوِهِ. And for the warrior, what is enough for him as a fighter. وَإِلَى إِبْنُ السَّبِيلِ مَا يُوصِلُهُ إِلَى بَلَدِهِ. And for the Ibn al-Sabil, the wayfarer, enough to get him to his country or to his place, to his city. وَلَا يَزَادُ أَحَدٌ مِّنْهُمْ عَلَى ذَلِكَ. And you should not give any one of them over that amount. وَخَمْسَةٌ مِّنْهُمْ لَا يَأْخُذُونَ إِلَّا مَعَ الْحَاجَةِ. And there are 5 of them that they will not get except if they are in need. And they are وَهُمْ الْفَقِيرُ وَالْمِسْكِينُ وَالْمُكَاتَبُ وَالْغَارِمِ لِنَفْسِهِ وَابْنُ السَّبِيلِ. And they are the faqir, the miskin, and the mukatab, the one that has a contract for himself, the slave, to purchase himself, and the gharim, the one that is in debt for himself, وَابْنُ السَّبِيلِ, and the wayfarer, the one that has traveled and he has lost his wealth. وَأَرْبَعَةٌ يَجُوزُ دَفْعٌ إِلَيْهِمْ مَعَ الْغِنَى وَهُمُ الْعَامِلُ وَالْمُؤَلَّفُ وَالْغَازِي وَالْغَارِمُ لِإِصْلَاحِ ذَاتِ الْبَيْنِ. And there are 4 of them who it is permissible to give them even though they may have enough or they are well off. And they are the zakat collector, so al-amil, the one that are working for the zakat institute. Even if he's a millionaire and he's working for the zakat institute, then he should be paid his haqq, what a normal person in his situation would be paid. He is allowed to take that from the zakat, even if he is well off and he doesn't need that. And also the wal-ghazi, the one who is a fighter, but he has enough, he can finance himself for fighting. He has his own horses, or he has his own he's able to finance himself. You can still give zakat in order to finance him with the zakat money. وَالْغَارِمُ بِإِصْلَاحِ ذَاتِ الْبَيْنِ. And the one that has incurred a debt in order to reconcile between 2 people or 2 groups, even though that person may have enough money and he is able to reconcile and he's able to pay off whatever debt he took. He's in a good, he's well off. The zakat money can still qualify to pay off for the debt that is incurred for him to reconcile between 2 people or 2 parties. And we will end off here, inshallah. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين.
And what about